I decided to teach this course because I thought it's a good way to teach people about a different culture and a different way of living. I started learning ASL when I was 3 years old. My brother's deaf, so I learned with my brother in school. He's just 1 year older than me. So all my life I, you know, used sign with my brother and his friends, and I've seen him in his school where my brother, he learned how to read with his voice and just things like that. Just in English, there's different types of sign. There's ASO, there's ESO, which is exact sign. So if I speak, I sign those words. But ASL is different. It's more like fixed, so that it's more reduced. And then there's Spanish, Japanese, there's German. It's just different types of sign language.
Okay.
Pretty much my course just kind of like focuses on just like talking and analyzing and learning about all things like academic related for comics. All of the textbooks are comics, even like the really like high scholarship one. And pretty much like what we really look into for this class is like we look how like minority representation is done via comics, and like what comics do it the best, how can you actually do like adequate representation and everything like that. Pretty much we just read a bunch of like random cool comics from like V for Vendetta to like The Arrival, and we discuss it. I decided to teach a course on comics because I started to realize at my like time here at UCR that there hasn't really been any like classes just focused on using comics as an academic medium. I've only taken one course so far and it was amazing, and it's focused on comics, but like I believe that there could have been more classes, especially at UCR, that prides itself on diversity from like people to also like classes. So that's why I created this art course. I would say like some comics that actually have really good minority representation would be like Chew, which is published by Image Comics, Full Metal Alchemist, which the author I forgot, but it's a really popular manga. Those are kind of the ones that I kind of like came up to me just in terms like really quickly, because they not only like represent like one group, but they represent like all kinds of different groups, and it's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My name is Gregory Blake Hutchins. I'm a political science undergraduate here. I am a research assistant for multiple professors. My course revolves around the idea of civic involvement, the idea that people should be involved in the body politic itself. There are a couple of reasons I wanted to teach this course, and I'll highlight a couple of them. The first is there is a lack of civic involvement in this country to the point of some cities have as low as voter participation as 2 or 3%. And a huge portion of the demographic that doesn't vote is college-age students, those from 18 to 23, or what they would call the younger version of the millennials. And so part of the reason I want to teach this course is to engage those people and to illustrate why civic involvement is important for a society to work. So students will be primarily learning the ideas of civic involvement, how to be involved. We'll cover a wide range of topics, from what's the role of why do we care who's on the Supreme Court, to why do we care who's in the White House, to why do we even care about the person who's in our congressional seat, which most people can't even name their congressman. The other aspect of the class is what can the citizen do, because people idealize or realize that a congressman is an office, but so is the citizen, and we have certain roles and duties and how we can influence those that we've elected to do what benefits us. And this sort of gives an example of, well, what is my role as a citizen? I'm not an elected official, but I am a citizen of this country. I am a citizen of this community. Now, there are different definitions of citizen, but to me, a citizen is someone who's actively engaged in the politic and who's here. The legal matters is something for the actual congressman to determine, but that's not my role. One of the biggest attributes of my civic involvement came from something I'm using in my course. Aaron Sorkin, who I believe is one of the best playwrights of our time, wrote a television series known as The West Wing. It is an Emmy Award-winning series, and it focuses on the idea specifically of the American government and how the operation of the West Wing works. Now, it's very idealistic, but it has the sense of this is why people should be involved. You know, the idea of voting and showing up matters. In fact, Aaron Sorkin, to paraphrase him, because I never remember the quote exactly, but it's that the belief that government, no matter what its faults in the past and in times to come, is a place where people can come together and that nobody gets left behind. And so that's why I became civically involved, because if you want change in this world, the best place to do it is through government, or influencing government in some way, because they're the overarching system, the overarching institution that we have used to set up our world.